most of you already know. And today's video is going to be things that I knew, or things that I wish I knew before I turned 18. Some of these things that I did already know, but I'm just going to throw them in here because they're important for people who are getting ready to turn 18 and things of that nature. They're important for that to know. So my first thing is of course, when you're in high school nowadays, they don't teach you how to budget. They don't teach you how to balance a checkbook. They don't teach you any of that. A lot of the things that they teach you in high school now are math, science, and those things don't really help you if you're not going to college or you haven't gone to college straight out of high school. College is super expensive, especially if you don't get all these scholarships like a lot of kids get. So it can be super expensive for some people, so they may be not able to go at first. Most people's goal is to go to college, and that's one of my goals at some point, but at this point in my life, I'm not at the exact point to go to college, only because I don't have the money. And number one, with budgeting, it is so important to know what you can spend, how much you can save, and those type of things. Savings is a good thing to build up because you need to have kind of like an emergency fund in case something happens and you magically lose your job for some reason, or you get disabled or you get hurt for any reason. And you need to have a good amount set up that can last you a few months. Only because if something were to happen, say you got hurt or injured at work, of course they're going to pay workers' compensation. But they can only pay up to such amount. I think it's like half of your pay, depending on where you work. So having that extra money that you have in your savings would be really great for those type of situations. Or if somebody goes to the hospital for a certain reason, you have that extra money if that person's like the top income of the household. So that's number one, is budgeting. Number two is balancing a checkbook. One thing is a lot of people nowadays don't use checkbooks. They just swipe their card and go. A lot of places don't take checks anymore. The places that do take actual checks would be, of course, like the banks, where we pay our electric bill, light bill, and those kind of things. They take checks. But a lot of places you go shopping, they don't take checks anymore. There's a lot of places that don't take checks, so balancing a checkbook isn't the number 2 top priority, but it is pretty important, especially if you're trying to budget. It's important to know where you're spending your money at, as well as it's important for you to have an idea of how much you can spend where and how much and all those kind of things. So budgeting and balancing a checkbook kind of goes hand in hand. As well as learning how to build credit. Building credit is a pretty important thing, because as you get older, credit's the way that you can buy a car, credit's the way you can get a loan for a house, and as you're getting older, you have to have credit to buy those things, or you're going to have a cosigner. And having a cosigner isn't necessarily a bad thing. It's just that the person who's co-signing for you has more credit than you do, which means that person's willing to help you build credit, but being able to do it on your own is also a good thing. So how do you build credit? So a lot of people, their parents can get a credit card in their name or something along those lines and use it and pay it back and those kind of things. Also, when you hit, I think I turned 17 when I got mine, or 18. I think I was 18 when I got my first credit card. I didn't get to get one before that because I didn't have a job sooner. But if you have a job, you can apply for a credit card. I got one through my bank. I have Eastman Credit Union, and I love Eastman. They are pretty good. I got a $500 limit for my credit card to start out with, and now it's $1,000. I don't recommend that you try to max it out at any point. It's not a very good idea. But that is one way to build your credit, is to use your credit card and then make payments on it. Not pay it off in one go, because the more you make payments shows your reliability on how it is to make the payments, how responsible you are kind of with your money, as well as showing that if you got like a loan for a house or a car, that you're going to be able to pay those payments in a timely manner, making sure that they're not late, because if you're not responsible and don't pay them on the time, then you're going to have a late fee and all those things, and then they're not going to be like, yeah, we should let you buy a car from us if you've not been like responsible with your payments. So that is number 3. The next thing that I would definitely say that I wanted to know is that outside of all this budgeting and credit and all of that stuff, there's things that in high school that my parents had that I didn't. Like, they had it was like a multi-functional class where it had cooking and sewing and all those kinds of things, and I honestly wish that my school would have had something like that, because me as a person, I have to rely on my parents to do some of those things for me. I know how to cook, and I know how to, like, do the normal household things, but I don't know how to sew, and that'd be something good for me to know how to do in case, like, something gets a hole or anything like that. Like, it'd be something that I would enjoy, like, knowing how to do in case I have to fix, like, my own clothes, because now I have to rely on my parents, who have their own jobs and their own things to worry about to try to fix my clothes, or me have to go out and buy brand new ones, which is a pain in the booty when you don't have money because your budget isn't 100% wonderful, because your pay isn't 100% wonderful. So that's one thing that I do wish that I had or knew how to sew. That's one thing that I wish my school taught me. I mean, I was in school for, 12 years like everybody else, from kindergarten to 12th grade. So I really wish that was one thing that they taught us. So that is number, I think, 4. So the next thing that I wish I knew is the reality of working. So I started working when I was 17, almost 18. I knew, like, the retail jobs, that kind of thing, because I was in a retail job for a year and a half. But in all reality, a retail job is not what you're going to end up in. Some people may end up there depending on where you go in your life. But for me, that's not where I want to end up. I kind of want to be something, of course, with children. Children are my favorite. I love working here on YouTube as well. But in all reality, I want to work with children, and that's one thing that they don't tell you a lot about, is how do you get to the steps to know what you have to do to be able to do these things. So, like, I want to work with kids. Don't know exactly what I want to do, maybe like a social worker or something. But, like, in high school, they never tell you how to take the steps to do it. They just kind of, hey, go research it yourself. And I'm like, as me personally, I did want to be a labor and delivery nurse. Like, that's one thing that I did love, like, watching life happen. But unfortunately, things happened and I decided differently. But I was at my aunt's birth with her first son, and that's kind of how I found out about the labor and delivery nurse, what they had to go through, that they had to be an LPN before they could be an RN to be a labor and delivery nurse. Luckily, I got to experience that and be able to know what it took to be a labor and delivery nurse. But, like, with me wanting to be doing something with school, kids, I don't know exactly what I want to do. And currently, I'm working in a daycare, if you all don't know. But I want to, of course, excel from that at some point. What I make now is not going to last a lifetime, and it's not going to get me through what I need to get through, unfortunately. I love the kids and everything, but it's just not. But other than that, I think that's going to wrap up this video. If you guys have any more suggestions or want to know any more things that I wanted to know before I was 18, just comment down below. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, turn on post notifications so you guys never miss a new video. I'll see you guys in my next one. I love you guys. Bye.